Gents, I just want to pause the episode for a moment to let you know about the Strong Men of Value Academy. You will have heard me refer to it a number of times, and I want to bring more attention to it. So this isn't just a program, it's a life-changing environment and community of men who are focused on personal and professional growth. We're looking at areas of relationships, wealth, and health, things to help you thrive and maximize your life. Imagine having bi-monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with myself, weekly group coaching calls, and an incredible brotherhood of high achievers by your side. Now we're diving into resilience, leadership, and holistic growth to not just succeed in your career, but to thrive in your health and your relationships. Your journey to greatness, it starts here. So join the movement and you can apply for the Strong Men of Value Academy. You can head to themanthatcanproject.com to find out more. The Man That Can Project podcast, a podcast empowering career-driven men to live more fulfilling lives. We are here to challenge your beliefs, redefine success, and talk about the important stuff in a relatable way. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. My name's Lachlan Stuart. Let's get into it. Happy Thursday, gentlemen. I've gotten this one out a little bit later than I would have liked, so I'm very sorry for those who are waiting for it Thursday morning with your coffee. I know there are a number of you who love doing that. These rows have gotten on top of me. Today is day 14. I've done and dusted it, but what I've started to realize, and I will do a whole podcast and a few things on the experience after, but I allowed myself 4 hours a day, and as my body is becoming more fatigued, I'm finding it very hard to get on top of everything else because I'm needing to spend more time stretching, more time sleeping, more time eating than previously thought. So it's a good, fun experience. I'm loving it, but it's also, it's quite stressful trying to still get a full day's work into everything done before 12 o'clock. So if you have messaged me, if you have emailed me, if you have DM'd me on some platform and I haven't gotten back to you, I will, but I just know that if I don't get to my messages by 12 a.m., and that's in and around seeing clients and everything else, it's very, very challenging for me to get it done because I'm normally wrecked at the end of the day, but I wanted to really get this podcast episode out today. So fear of rejection, overcoming the fear of rejection and how to get what you want. I think they really are polar opposites of the same thing. Sorry, not even polar opposites, different perspectives. Because when you focus on fear of rejection, we're always going to experience it, in my opinion. I was had a meeting with a client and a mate this morning, and we were talking about one thing that he wants to work on over the next 12 weeks, within the academy and one-on-one. And the first thing that came to mind was fear of rejection. And I can sit here in my office right now and put my hand up knowing that I still experience fear of rejection. I experience fear of a range of things. And from my experience, I don't believe the focus should be on overcoming fear of rejection. It's working with that and harnessing it, but still finding the one thing that you need to do to work through it and face it every day. Because I do believe no matter who you are, no matter where you're at in your life, you will experience those fears. It's how you face up to them, whether you are prepared to face them and work through it. And when I say work through it, I mean take action on things that are holding you back. So, for example, you might have fear of rejection on asking someone out for a date. So that fear of rejection sits there and festers there and you never actually take any action. So what ends up happening, you don't get any feedback. You never get the rejection and you also never get the opportunity. It may also be fear of rejection in reaching out to join the Strong Men of Value Academy for applying for that. If you don't apply, you will never know. Okay, so if you don't ever first take the action, you will never know. And when we look at fear of rejection, we need to understand that the majority of times it's not personal. Okay, it's not about you, it's about the other person, or it's about where the rejection's coming from. And we often overlook that because the moment that we experience rejection, and I want you to do this right now. Think about a time where you experienced that rejection. Okay, like I mentioned, it might have been asking someone out, it might have been inviting a mate to the movies or to the pub or whatever, however that shows up in your life. We then need to start thinking about the context or the other things that are going on in that individual's life. For example, I could ask a couple of mates to go for a steak for next Wednesday night for State of Origin, and being obviously last minute, I'd probably bet most of them have plans. I also know a lot of my mates have children. So if I were to, not think about it and go, oh, they're probably going to be busy, or they're probably going to say no, and I just kept thinking about it and I never actually invited them. Some of them may be wanting to do something. But also if I do receive, I guess, rejection or a no, rather than going, oh, they don't like me, they don't want to hang out with me, you need to think about what is actually going on. They have kids, they may be spending time with their family, and put it into, or shift it to a perspective, or reframe it as, I guess, the correct terminology. Reframe it in a way that you're not looking at it personally. It's interesting that for so many things in our life, we always take a victim mentality or mindset, or poor me, or no one likes me, and we beat ourselves up around that. And the truth to that is that no one can change that except for you. I know the reason why you listen to this podcast, and I'm sure you're doing many other things in your life to better improve who you are as an individual and as a man. But if you don't start implementing these things, and if you don't actually slow down to work on it, and this is one of the reasons why within our academy I give our members worksheets every week. Not everyone does them, but I highly recommend doing them, because it's within these tasks. It's when creating that time for yourself to slow down and take, I guess, stock or review how you're showing up in certain areas of your life, because the more self-awareness you have, the better decisions you're going to be able to make moving forward. The better you're going to be able to regulate your emotions, the better you're going to be able to set up success. Really, you're going to put yourself in pole position to get what you want from life. So let's think about this, right? What does fear of rejection actually mean to you? This is what I asked my mate this morning. I was like, well, I don't really believe it's fear of rejection you're worried about. It's something more. There's something more to that. What is it that you're not telling me, or what is it that you're not acknowledging within yourself that is the real issue here? And when we sort of spoke a little bit more, and I think the beautiful thing about asking those extra questions is it really allows people to unravel what's going on in their mind. So the fear of rejection elaborated a little bit more into not being accepted and people not liking me. So it's not even about the rejection. It's more about being alone, isolated, not fitting in. And, people crave connection. We know that, right? It's pillar 4 for the Man That Can project, mateship, right? We want to feel heard. We want to feel valued, and we want to have a sense of belonging. That is something that is hardwired into us as individuals. So now that we can understand this, we can start building, I guess, a support network around this in the face of rejection. We can stare the fear of rejection in the face. So now that we know the real issue or the real challenge is not fear of rejection, but it's more so not being liked, not being accepted, not having a sense of belonging, we then go, okay, what is most important first here is, 1, you need to get certain on who you are as an individual. 2, you need to establish what you want from your life and what you want to stand for. And 3, you need to create a plan that involves taking action required to be that best version of yourself. That's the growth. Now, what will generally happen, and one thing that will really be established within this process, is you will start identifying the people that you need to surround yourself with. Right? Pillar number 4, mateship, or looking at your environment. Who are the people that you need to surround yourself with to become the version of yourself that you desire to be, to create the life that you desire to have, to really just get what you want from life? What does that look like? Because when you get clear on that, you then need to accept this. You need to accept that because you're walking one path, there's going to be a path walking the other way. And generally in life, they're polar opposites, which means you may have different beliefs, you may have different opinions, and you may have different perspectives on things. And if you just look at how fucked up the world is because we don't understand this very well, there's a lot of disagreement, there's a lot of attacking, there is a lot of hatred. That is going to be part of life when you really start to understand who you are and stand for something. That is in your trajectory, I guarantee you, which means if fear of rejection is going to happen for sure, but I guess you're still going to have that uneasy feeling about it. But because you have a roadmap, because you have a plan, this is how you stand up to the rejection. You know you're valued. You know you're accepted within the environment that you surround yourself with. You know you have a common goal, and you know you have an individual goal that you're working towards. So when that fear stands in the way, you go, okay, I've got two options here. I can do what majority of people do, and I can allow the fear to control me. I can allow that fear to hold me back and not allow me to get what I want from my life. Or I can go to my plan and go, look, motherfucker, right now, for a goal that I'm working towards, and the goal could be this. I want to have a loving relationship, and that person that you've been wanting to ask on a date for a long time could be that person. You're faced with a choice, right? Do you do it or do you not? That fear is still going to be there, and the longer you sit on it, the greater the fear gets. But you know you've got your outcome, and there's only one way you're going to get the true result. And when I say true result, I mean it's either going to be yes or it's going to be a no. That's a true result. That's an outcome. You may not like one and you may love the other, which is completely fine, but you're going to get one or the other. So you need to ask that person out. It has to happen. If that's the example, you have to step into the face of fear. You need to use fear as your compass. Okay, you're still going to have your support network. And this is what I say to our Academy members all the time, no matter what they're working towards. It's as simple as this. When you're certain on who you are, you know what you want, take the actions required to achieve that. You will fumble, you will fail, you will make mistakes. That's guaranteed. Absolutely. But within that process, you're going to get better every single day. This is why the people who are really fucking crushing it that I've worked with are the ones who continue to show up, they continue to take action, and they're very, very consistent, and they're open to feedback. They give themselves feedback even. And that's why they've seen significant growth over the years. But then there's people who dabble. There's people who still aren't really certain on who they are. They aren't really certain on what they want, and they never take fucking action. And you can see how that's a very, very poor feedback loop, not even feedback loop, a poor cycle to be in. Because at what point are you going after what you want? Where does the motivation come from? Where does the inspiration go? It doesn't happen. So if you want to think about how to get what you want, go back to those simple things, right? If you think about the fear, don't just go, I'm worried about rejection. No. What is it? Is it worried about being isolated? Is it worried about being alone? Because when you, like those 3 simple steps I said, certain on who you are, there are more people out there who are exactly like you. There are hundreds of people who I know exactly like me. I just had to find them, and I found a lot of them. I know what I want from my life, which is why people surround themselves within the Man That Can Projects community, because we know what we want, we know what we stand for, and we know where we're going. And taking action every single day to do that. I make mistakes, I make changes, but I'm still moving forward, and I'm getting feedback every single day from the outcomes that are showing up in my life and in my business. And I want that for you guys. I don't want you to be held back. So I'm going to leave that one there. Short and sharp episode. Well, once again, if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. It's great to have you here. Check out our free Facebook group. Check out the Strongman of Value Academy. For those who are returning, as always, an absolute pleasure, and I hope to see you in the Academy soon, or leave a review, all that fun stuff. And until Monday, so this Monday we have James Horwell, the former Wallabies captain, so the Australian rugby team captain, on the show. It's an incredible conversation that you definitely don't want to miss. Until then, have a ripper weekend, and I'm going to keep rowing away. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachlan Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.